Hello and welcome to the Living Hope Thought for the Day. And today's thought for the day comes from the letter of Paul to Philemon. Now, we don't know very much about Philemon, but certainly what we are told is ever so uplifting and encouraging. We know that Philemon led a church that met in his house, and that he was faithful to God. The Bible tells us that Philemon was someone who refreshed the saints. He was good to be with. He was an encouragement. He lifted people up. If you were feeling a bit miserable, a bit low, life was tough, Philemon was the sort of Christian who could really lift your spirits and give you a sense of God's presence and purpose. But he was not without his tests and challenges, and one particular test was that he had this slave called Onesimus. And the Bible tells us that Onesimus seems to have run away. And it's even possible, we don't know this for sure, but there's certain things implied that Philemon may well have had a few things stolen when Onesimus does a runner and leaves the house. But God's hand is on Onesimus because he's going to find himself in the prison vicinity of Paul. Now again, we don't know for sure whether he was in a cell with Paul. We get the impression that Paul was under a kind of house arrest. But what we certainly see and understand is that Paul is having some time with Onesimus and God's speaking. And Onesimus is being challenged about his lifestyle, challenged about his rebellion and disappearing, running away. And God's been speaking to him through Paul, and we get the impression that he actually becomes a believer. That whether he had any faith before he ran away, we really don't know. But the sense we have is that he's now coming to a personal faith. So Paul has the dilemma. Now that Onesimus is in a much better place spiritually, what should he do? Should he hang on to this young man and allow this young man to serve him? Or is the right option to say to Onesimus, you need to go back. You need to go back to Philemon. You need to put things right. And so that's the option that Paul is most comfortable with. Onesimus, you've got to go back. And he writes to Philemon to say, look, I know this isn't going to be easy. I know you're going to struggle with taking back into your house someone who did you badly, let you down. Paul doesn't make excuses for Onesimus. He knows he's made a dreadful, dreadful mistake. But he says, look, I think the right thing is Onesimus, you need to go back. Philemon, you need to forgive. And Paul does it in a really nice way. He doesn't do it in a heavy-handed way. Look, I'm an apostle and you're a leader in the church. You jolly well should do what I say. No. Paul doesn't approach it like that. He just says, look, this is a really reasonable thing. And I really believe that you should respond in this unselfish and forgiving way. We don't actually know what happened. That's always quite intriguing when a set of circumstances point in a direction and we don't know how it all turns out. But I think we have that sense that Paul is giving the right advice, that Onesimus takes the advice, and I believe that Philemon welcomes him back. One of the challenges that we all have to face is allowing people to come back who've done us wrong, forgiving those who've let us down, and receiving them warmly, and judging them not on the past, but on the grace of God upon them now. May God really help you and I to respond should an Onesimus come back into our lives. God bless you.